Alright, I got here a, what is this, a 22 Ford F150. So, customer complained it's a no crank. They were driving, they pulled into a store, and it wouldn't start after that. They replaced the starter already, and that didn't fix it. I think he said, is the battery disconnected? I see like everything's pulled apart here. So, that might make my job easier. I don't know. Alright, let me pry open. Oh yeah, so he did. So I think he said he was testing at the fuse box, and even with the new starter, he still couldn't get it just to crank. So let me just get a wrench to tighten that. All right, let's go see. Okay. Alright, that's funny because he told me that he thought it wasn't in park, but here it shows it's in park. Let me just lock this up. It definitely shows. Oh no, that's sorry. He said he wasn't able to shift out of. He wasn't able to shift into neutral, which I can't do either. And I would assume with putting your foot on the brake, you should be able to do that with the key on. Alright, let's just do a scan. Oh, as a Ford, I'm gonna have to be connected to the internet on after 2018. Am I connected? I can't tell. Alright, hold up. Computer's communicating. Alright, so everything's communicating. There's a lot of codes. I don't know what they are. Park brake switch circuit. What's in the PCM? Fuel pump primary circuit, serial communication link, control module performance. Okay, I don't know what they did, so I'm just gonna delete everything. See what comes back. Alright, in the ABS we just got battery voltage. Let's turn it off. Try to crank it again. Nothing. Let's do a new scan. Alright, so I don't see anything over here that would cause this. It's a green tree, I tried it. Let me get a diagram, see how the system's set up. Alright, let's get a starting and charging diagram. Starting circuit. Alright, so I always start at the motor. Alright, so we got a constant power on the motor coming from the battery itself on the red wire. Then the starter motor gets power from the battery junction box, the starter relay. When the relay closes, it gives power on fuse 11, 30 amp fuse, and that goes straight to the starter. So that'll be very easy to check if they have a signal there. And the relay itself is commanded on by, let's see, the yellow and white and green wire. And that goes to this diagram. Comes from the powertrain module. And that knows it's in start from the BCM. From this, well, how does this know it's in start? Start 1 and 2 from the ignition switch right here. Okay, so this gives the BCM, tells it it's in start, and that tells the BCM it's in start, and this internal to the BCM tells the start, puts power on this, either power or ground on this blue and white wire, I don't know, and will tell the computer to start. So before we do any testing, let's just go into the BCM itself. Let's see if there's a data pad for start command. Alright, we'll do crank. No crank, let's try start. Alright, I found 2 data pads. So ignition run start input circuit is active, ignition start input circuit, well, is active. So the BCM knows that we're in crank. Alright, so the question is, does the computer getting that same signal? Well, let's go to the computer. PCM. Read data stream. Let's do ignition. Okay, so this will tell us ignition switch is on, ignition switch crank position, right here says off. We go to on. Okay, so the computer's getting a signal. Crank switch hardwire input indicated that a start was requested at least once since ignition is true. False, you see, because I didn't go to crank, and now I'm going to crank, and it goes to true. So right now, what we just learned is the computer's trying to start the car. People get scared. There's modules in this on the 2022. Now it's like any car since I don't know how long. It's a basic relay that we have to test. All right, so the relay. Sorry, so here we are. Fuse 11, a 30 amp fuse in the battery junction box. I see the cover's not here. Oh boy, what do they do with the cover? Is this it? Yeah, and it doesn't even say numbers. Okay, I gotta look up a fuse box diagram. Okay, here's the battery junction box. We need fuse. Well, let's see, is there a starter relay? Engine cooling relay, engine cooling. So there's just, yeah, there's just 2 relays in this box. Okay, so the starter relay must be built in internally. Alright, so let's go to fuse F30. That will tell us if the relay is powering it up. No, sorry, it's 30. No, it's fuse 11. Fuse 11 will tell us if it's being powered up. Right here, F11. It's this way. This guy right here, which is actually cracked. Is it blown? It's probably cracked because they were trying to get this off because you can't see the fuse. And it's blown. See that? It's split right there. All right, let's put a new fuse in and see if this thing cranks. All right, that's 3 in over here. All right, we got a new fuse. Let's see if this thing starts. It could be it really was a blown starter. Okay, well, I'm getting a battery state of. All right, let's see if that really blew. Fuse blew again. Yeah, so we got a short. Fuse keeps blowing. Okay, but we know the turn on's good. That much we know. Let's get. Alright, where does this go? Let's go straight to the starter. Oh, it means I'm gonna have to get dirty. Fuse 11. it goes straight to the signal wire on the starter. Let me get my power probe hook. So we'll set it to 30 amps. It's just easier than I don't have someone here to crank it for me. So alright, so now I have this set to 30 amps. Now let's find whichever one's ground. It breaks, it trips instantly. Instant trip. Okay. So I'm 3 C1035C. Yeah, so it's under the fuse box. Okay. What will be the easiest way to attack this? Let me just go get a visual inspection on the actual starter. I feel like it's on this side over here. Alright, so right here is the starter motor. And here's the wire that that's supposed to give the signal. And here's the main power wire. So I want to pull this wire off. Just make sure we don't have a shorted starter because it looks aftermarket. Yeah, it says test passed. Okay. Okay, here's the nut. Alright, now I need to put this somewhere where it's not going to touch anything. Alright, that's right in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to give power at the fuse and we're going to see if it blows. Okay, so let's put the negative back on. Let me just make sure, what's the circuit breaker? It's at the 20 amps, that's fine. Nothing. That's it, it's a shorted starter. See, the wire is obviously not shorted to ground, or else it would blow the fuse just like before. Now the only other option that it could be is maybe, but then it would blow the main fuse, maybe the engine's stuck. Is it a seized engine? So I have to rotate the engine if I could get to it easy. Alright, before that I'm just gonna go under the car and give power directly to that nut on the starter and see if it blows the fuse also. Alright, I'm touching just the nut. It cranks, so it does crank. So that means the engine's not seized and the starter's not shorted. So what was it hitting the side? Only disconnect the battery, but it must be hitting. Oh, if you look right there, on the nut, I don't know if you can see, on the positive nut. If you look on the positive nut, you can see a mark as if it was something arced. So maybe the nut was just hitting. All right, let me disconnect the battery and try to reconnect this thing. Okay. See, I don't know how this nut is supposed to fit because there's like a locating tab on it, but it doesn't fit this way. What's it hitting? Is it hitting this? Well, that wouldn't make it short. It had to be hitting the ground. But there's definitely there's something bent over here. Okay, you know, I'm gonna try it the other way. Alright. That's tight. I don't know if this is the right way or not. I just want to see if I can get it to start at all. Now, at least I know there's a fuse there, so I'm not so worried. Let's go to 30 amps, select. There we go. Not blowing the fuse. Let's get a new fuse. Let's pop it in. Okay. And let's see if it starts. Still nothing. Let's do a scan. You know, I wonder if it's not letting it start because the battery is too low. Let me put a booster pack on it. Just want to make sure it's not blown. Nope, it's not. Okay. Let's see. Let's first try to start it. No go. Alright. Let's clear the DCs. So we got that primary fuel pump code again. Was that because we cranked it without throttle actuator, a control motor, current, range, performance? There we go, started. And it still says check brake system. There's definitely still an issue. Let's just go into the PCM. Throttle works, battery's good. But it is 14.46. Which on these I think is a Lin controlled alternator, and this is what it defaults to. So I don't know what else was touched or if this problem was on before. I have no idea. Breathe. Let's just do a false code scan. Wait, why is the brake light also on? Okay, park brake off. Now it's on, and now it's off. So why is the brake light on? Invalidated receipt from the ECM. Okay, that makes sense. Serial communication link, control module performance. So there's internal control module monitoring of engine start authorization. I don't know what that is. All right, let's see if it starts again. Yeah, it starts up. Now, I don't know, maybe there's a really underlying problem. They changed the starter and caused another issue. They're making it blow. Let's do another scan. All right, let's see what we got here. We got a bunch of codes. Let's clear everything. I don't know if it's gonna clear with the car on. Got AC finally. Okay, so in the ABS, we still have battery voltage. Let's clear that code. Let's do key on engine off. And we'll do clear DTCs. It's not clearing. Okay, it could be because, I don't know, it could be because the alternator is causing problems. All right. Now let's do another scan. All right, so now all we have is the battery voltage code in the ABS module. Which, see, I don't know if this problem was here before or not. What about the... Put a jar. Battery state of charge low. So we still have that. All right, so I disconnected my booster pack. I think that was causing the charging system error, because now it's not there anymore. I also spoke to the owner, and he said what happened was I misunderstood. They jumped the starter, and it did crank. It just didn't start because, you know, it has to see the key turn it on. He was calling that, it wasn't. He was calling starting, turning over. So I was very confused what he meant. But that's probably where that arcing came from on that nut. And they just didn't change this fuse. They weren't sure which fuse it was or something like that. I don't know. He said all the problems started at once. So I just want to close the hood to see what comes back and what doesn't. All right, so we still have a brake light on, but we got rid of the charging light. It was just because of my booster pack. Let me clear the codes. I wonder if that's coming from there. Let's see, clear the DCs. All right, it just cleared. There we go, everything's off, it's working fine. Yeah, so it's good to know. My booster pack, reverse brake assist not available. I don't know what that means, but we're good now. Everything's good. So yeah, my booster pack was causing, because it probably was on the other side of the battery sensor, if I had to guess. So it showed the current going probably wrong, but all right, we're good now. All right, thanks for watching.